Okay, so 31st of January 2025, and I'm just about to see whether being a compulsive hoarder is going to pay off. I'm going to try and start making a set of cribs for the wheels on my car so I can work under it safely. All of these are offcuts of steel that I've been saving over the years, and a bit of aluminium sheet. More stuff here with a bit of rust on it, and that's rooting through all of my scraps of metal, so hopefully it'll pay off, but time will tell. There's going to be quite a bit of metal used in this little project, so but that's the basis of it. There is tubes inside tubes, and hopefully I should be able to jack it up about 8 or 9 inches. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so the next step is drilling at least 64 holes, around about a 13mm, and I need to decide whether I'm going to have a couple of settings or just the one setting. I think for the extra time it's going to take it, I should perhaps put 2 holes in each one so that I've got some adjustability. I'm going to be doing it, it's not an engineering drill, but these are very, very useful machines. They're a radial drill, so it slides forwards and backwards, it will rotate, but also it will tilt as well, so that you can tilt it like that or that, and also swing it round. Very versatile drill, and I'd recommend them to anybody. So I just set up a little jig here so that you don't have to mark everything up, and just slot it into that hole, brush it off after every drilling so that I can clear that corner. And it looks like I've got a busy day ahead just drilling. How boring. Well, that's most of the drilling done. It's been a good morning's work. This setup has worked really quite well. I've had a couple of very good drills. One is a 12mm dormer and the other one is a 1/2 inch dormer. So I've done most of the hogging out with the 12 and then finished off the drilling with a 13mm. Having a brush and a little bin at the side has worked very well as well, because after every hole drilled I've just cleared it off to the side. That makes it an awful lot easier. I did count how long it took, and it was nearly 60 seconds for each drill, so it worked out for just about an hour and a half. Not the most exciting job, but it was a drill a minute. Monday, 3rd of February. I'm starting to make some progress, and this is the first one nearly completed. I have some cross bracing to do to make sure that it doesn't flex, because the plate that it's on is only 3mm. And once there's a lot of pressure on that, the legs could splay outwards, so I just need to make sure that that's not a problem. The welding is coming on very slowly. I need to keep a fan going just to keep the fumes away, and I'm using this old welder here. I've had this for 40 years and it was second hand from a hire shop then, so it's had a lot of work, but it's still doing the job. So I shall keep you updated. It's taken a long time, and it's making a mess of the workshop as well. Okay, it's Tuesday the 4th of February. Making very, very slow progress, but this is the first one almost completed. What it needs now is just a couple of braces across here to prevent any spreading. The top, I've just welded a couple of pieces on there, and that's going to get an aluminium plate over, but it's very thick steel, so I don't think that's going to bend any in the near future. Because of the height of it, it's about 12 inches standing, and then it'll expand to 20 inches. I think I'm going to have to jack it up in stages. So the jack, I will fabricate a piece of 4-inch steel to it, and then that will then sit inside of there, and it's slack enough to be able to fit it in, but it won't be able to twist. So that's the next part of the project. The other 3 cradles or cribs are made ready, and I'm just about finding the right bits of steel for it. Very, very slow progress, but hopefully it's going to be worth it in the long term. Many, many cups of tea later, I'm making some progress. The plate, I've had to reinforce that. With it being 3mm, it was flexing a little bit, so I've put a piece of angle in here and one in here, but I need to leave the other sides open so that I can slide a jack in. And so what I've done is I've put another piece on the back to brace it, and likewise one there. That I was running out of metal, so I just used a little bit of square bar, but that comes in very handy because you can actually lift the jacks when you collapse them. So ready for painting now, and hopefully it'll be ready for using in the next couple of days. So these have now had 1 coat of paint. It's hammerite and they really need another coat of paint, but it's close to 0 degrees and it's not ideal for painting, so that can wait for a warmer day. Here's another benefit from compulsive hoarding. I've only had that for 35 years and it's very handy. It's a roll of banqueting tablecloth paper, so ideal for covering your work surfaces if you're going to be doing a messy job. So yesterday the pneumatic jack arrived and I'm slowly working out how to best use it. It comes with this rubber top on here, but I'm removing that because what I want to be able to do is put a 4-inch piece of metal in and so I need just to make a little square for that to sit or to stop it moving from side to side. Something else I'm going to need to do, and this is the jack that came with the vehicle itself. This failed on me spectacularly. The thread stripped out while it was in the air. Fortunately I had the wheels on, but I would normally in any case always have a secondary support system if ever I'm working by the car. But I'm going to be cutting this part off here because that fits into the jacking points, and then I will fit that to a piece of square box section. So making progress. So these are now ready for testing. I've put some aluminium checker plate on. They're just riveted into place, and it wouldn't be too difficult to remove them if I need to. I've made some handles that go right the way through from 1/2-inch bar, and this is the top of the original jack, so that should fit inside the jacking point. The square tube again will help lift it, and because this machine I think only has a 12-inch lift and the ramps at the lowest place are 12 inches, then I think I'm going to need to do it in stages. So I have a little block to put under the wheel and then lift it again. I'll most probably need to make another one, but I'm going to get ready to test it, and we shall see how it goes. Okay, I've got the car up onto the 4 stands now and things have worked out pretty well. It's not been without a few problems along the way, and one of those problems has been relating to this pneumatic jack here. It works very well inside the cradle, and because it only has to lift 4 inches. They're advertised as giving a lift of up to 17.5 inches, but with the weight of the vehicle on, it'll only come about 13 inches, so it barely lifts the wheel off the ground. So I've needed to make these intermediate chocks so they stand under the wheels, and then using further jacks to lift the whole thing up. But once it's onto the stands, then I can raise or lower it by 4 inches or 8 inches. Overall, it will give me most probably about 28 inches of clearance, which is more than enough. And I think most probably I will only need to have it on the bottom setting, which will give me a clearance of 22 inches. So it's still a work in progress, trying to find a a simplified way of getting this up onto there and using it, and also just making absolutely sure that it's safe. It's not ideal being set on gravel, but we shall try and find ways of making it a bit more safe, but hopefully it's going to be very useful.